Good morning, children. This is Act 5 of The Merchant of Venice. We start with Scene 1, and as I have already told you, it was Act 4 which had the climax. So, Act 5 is like wrapping up the story, the ends. So, a happy ending to a after an interesting climax. So we know that the scene is going to happen in Belmont because we need to bring Portia and Bassanio together again. So as you know, Portia has already gone back with Nerissa, and of course Bassanio is also following them back to Belmont. So now scene 1, Belmont. Now in the absence of Portia, you remember she had entrusted her whole place, property and servants to the care of Lorenzo and Jessica. So in this scene, we find Lorenzo and Jessica. It is actually a romantic scene. It's evening or rather night outside Portia's house. The young lovers are sitting they're just sitting together and teasing each other. You can always find Jessica and Lorenzo sharing some humor, some witty repartees and so on. This particular scene is a scene that celebrates night or talks about the charm that night has, and they try to recall love stories, anecdotes about lovers. Some are tragic, some are happy, but it talks about the enchantment of night. And later on, there is something about music. So here we start. Enter Lorenzo and Jessica. Lorenzo. The moon shines brightly in such a night as this, when the sweet wind did gently kiss the trees, and they did make no noise. In such a night, Troilus, methinks, mounted the Trojan walls inside his soul toward the Grecian tents, where Cressid lay that night. So here there's a reference to the Greek story, the Trojan War. If you remember, the war fought by the Trojans between the Greeks and the Trojans in Troy. Now there, Troilus and Cressida are the pair of lovers. Troilus loved Cressida, but during the war, Cressida was taken by the Grecians and taken a captive. She was kept in the Grecian tents. At that time, Troilus, the pining lover, scaled the walls to have a glimpse, Trojan walls, to have a glimpse of his lady love who was outside. Troy had the whole place had walls around. So from there he was looking out at the Grecian tents towards his lady love, or imagining that his lady love must be there, Cressida. So this is also there's also another play written by Shakespeare, Troilus and Cressida, about that love story. Now here Lorenzo says, probably it was on a night like this, a gentle night, a silent night with moon shining, on such a night when the wind was blowing and kissing the trees, so very gentle breeze, on such a night, probably Troilus also must have scaled the walls of Troy to have a glimpse of his lady love Cressida. Jessica says, in such a night did Thisbe fearfully overtrip the dew, and saw the lion's shadow ere himself, and ran dismayed away. Now, Jessica quotes another story that happened during the night. When Thisbe was in love with Pyramus. Now Thisbe came to the forest to meet her lover Pyramus. But when she came, she saw a lion. So she sort of retreated, but left her scarf in panic. And at that time, the lion just mauled the scarf, and there was a little blood on it. Because of the lion, he had not attacked Thisbe. Later on, Thisbe went away, but Pyramus came in search of Thisbe. When he saw the scarf, the bloody scarf, the scarf with blood on it, he presumed that Thisbe had been killed by the lion. So he killed himself. A very tragic ending to the love story. Now, Jessica quotes this. She says, maybe it was on a gentle and quiet night like this that Thisbe came and overtripped the dew, gently walked over the dew into the forest, and she must have face the situation there like this. Lorenzo. Now, you see, it is almost like you give a story, you give an anecdote, I give an anecdote. Like how in our Indian version we have Antakshari, Pataka Pata. So you give one incident, another gives another incident. So here they are giving episodes that happen during night. Lorenzo. In such a night stood Dido with a willow in her hand upon the wild sea banks and wafted her love to come again to Carthage. Now, the Dido was the queen of Carthage who was deserted by her lover Aeneas. He had gone to Italy. So she was waiting with a willow branch beside the river. Willow is always symbol of sadness. So here Dido was waiting with a willow in her hand upon the wild sea banks, waiting, wafting her love, sending her love, so that to come again to Carthage, inviting her lover to return to Carthage. Her lover, as I told you, is Aeneas, who had gone to Italy. Jessica says, so Lorenzo has given another story that happened during night. Jessica says, in such a night, Medea gathered the enchanted herbs that did renew old Aeson. Now, Jessica says, maybe on such a night, Medea, again it refers to a classical mythology. Now, those of you who know, Medea was the enchantress who loved Jason. Already we have heard about Jason and the golden fleece. Now, Medea loved Jason, and Jason's father, Aeson, Aeson, was actually given a spell or cursed to become old. It was Medea who, with her powers, because she was an enchantress, like a sorceress, she was able to get some herbs and all that, and then remove the spell from Jason's father Aeson and make him young again. So Jason's father's spell was removed by Medea on a night like this. Lorenzo says, in such a night did Jessica steal from the wealthy Jew, and with an unthrift love did run from Venice as far as Belmont. Now Lorenzo starts using their own example. He says it was on such a night that Jessica stole all the money from her father's cupboard, and she came with her unthrift lover. Unthrift lover, somebody who spends too much. So thrift, unthrift. So she came, stole all the money from her father and joined her lover on a night like this. We all know what happened, how she met Lorenzo and then came out during the masquerade that went on. Jessica says, in such a night did young Lorenzo swear he loved her well, stealing her soul with many vows of faith and never a true one. Now Jessica starts teasing him. She says, oh yes, it was on such a night only that Lorenzo came and professed his love. He proposed, and he said he stole her love with false vows by telling lies that he loved her dearly. She's trying to fish for compliments, or rather make him say that he is not a liar, he really loves her. So that kind of thing. So she says, on such a night, Lorenzo came and made false promises and won her love. Lorenzo says, in such a night did pretty Jessica, like a little shrew, slander her love, and he forgave it her. So now he connects it to the same night. So he says, on such a night, this girl, like a shrew is an angry woman. So pretty Jessica, like an angry woman, is slandering their love on a night like this. So same night, he's referring to this night. So on a night like this, the pretty girl is actually slandering or talking ill of their love by saying that Lorenzo made false promises and stole her love and things like that. So he's saying on such a night, pretty Jessica actually is slandering their love, but he's ready to forgive her. Jessica wants to continue with this game of talking about the night and what happened in the night. So Jessica says, I would outnight you did nobody come, but hark, I hear the footing of a man. I could easily outnight you. I could tell you so many different stories about night. I could tell you, but we'll have to stop our game because I can hear the footfall of somebody. Enter Stefano, Who comes so fast in silence of the night? A friend. A friend? What friend? Your name? I pray you, friend. So who is the friend who has come? Tell us. Stefano says, Stefano is my name, and I bring word my mistress will before the break of day be here at Belmont. She doth stay about by holy crosses where she kneels and prays for happy wedlock hours. So I am here on behalf of Portia, my madam, my mistress. And I come here to tell you that Portia is returning back to her place tomorrow. And on the way, she's praying to various worship places and churches and crosses. So she'll be here by morning, he says. And she's praying for happy wedlock years. She's praying that she should lead a happy married life. Lorenzo, who comes with her? Who is accompanying her? None but a holy hermit and her maid, I pray you. Is my master yet returned? So Stefano says nobody is there with her except her maid Nerissa, who is also like a holy hermit. And then he wants to know, when is Bassanio returning? So Lorenzo says, he is not. Now we have not heard about him. But we go in, I pray thee, Jessica, and ceremoniously let us prepare some welcome for the mistress of the house. So now Lorenzo says, we don't know about Bassanio, but now that Portia is returning, let's go home and prepare to welcome her ceremoniously. Enter Launcelot. Sola lalo woho sola. Who calls? Sola, did you see Master Lorenzo? Master Lorenzo? Sola, sola. So here he's coming in a very happy mood. Launcelot, is the happy person there. Leave hollowing, man. So stop shouting. Don't say sola, sola. Don't shout. Tell me who's here. Where? Here. Tell him there's a post come from my master with his horn full of good news. My master will be here a morning. So why Launcelot is singing and shouting is because he has got a message that Master Bassanio is returning. So that's why he's come to convey the good news. Then Lorenzo says, sweet soul, let's in. And there expect their coming, and yet no matter. Why should we go in? My friend Stefano, signify, I pray you, within the house your mistress is at hand, and bring your music forth into the air. So Lorenzo first had told, let's go in and then make preparations to welcome them. Then he realizes that he need not go in because they have to stay out, because anytime Portia will be coming and they could welcome her right there. So he wants the music to be brought there so that from outside they can welcome her. And exits Stefano. How sweet the moonlight sleeps upon this bank. Here will we sit and let the sounds of music creep in our ears. Soft stillness and the night become the touches of sweet harmony. This next whole stanza is important because it celebrates music. Earlier we were talking about the beauty of night, the gentleness of night, and things that happen at night. This particular one is all about the beauty of music. He says, the sound, let us listen to the sound of music. It creeps into ears. It's almost seeping in. And the night becomes the touches of sweet harmony. So it's almost like there's a music being played by night. So the night becomes, it soothes music. Music is even more melodious at night. It becomes the touches of sweet harmony. Harmony means complete oneness, where everything sings, everything fits, and it is melodious. Sir, Jessica, look how the floor of heaven is thick inlaid with patents of bright gold. Now he shows the heaven to sky to Jessica, and he says, look at that floor of heaven. It's studded with bright gold. There's not the smallest orb which thou beholdest, but in his motion like an angel sings, still choiring to the young-eyed cherubims. Such harmony is in immortal souls. But whilst this muddy vesture of decay doth grossly close it in, we cannot hear it. Now, Lorenzo tells us, look at the sky. Look at the beautiful angels singing there. Every orb, every small planet, every star is moving in its own orbit. Everything is moving, but in its motions like an angel sings. So there's music produced even by these heavenly bodies as they move. And but in his motion like an angel sings, such choiring, singing to the young-eyed cherubims. It's as if they are singing out to the angels in the sky, the cherubims. So there is music in the universe, in space, in heaven. Such harmony is in immortal souls. So music it's there everywhere, in the sky, in the universe. So the world was formed out of music, and there is music even within us. There is music in our soul, but we cannot hear that music when we are on earth because we are mortals. Mortals means people who die. So when we are in this land, when we are mortals, we are unable to listen to that divine music, the music that is there in the orbit. But whilst this muddy vesture of decay doth grossly close it in, we cannot hear. Muddy vesture, muddy dress. Now, our human body is referred to a dress, a vesture made of mud. If you have read the Bible, you will know that it says, from dust we were made and to dust we shall return. So our God has shaped us out of dust. So this body of ours, which he calls the muddy vesture of decay, one day it will decay. Once we die, then we will again be able to listen to that heavenly music. So all of us have that music. Only thing, we cannot listen to it so long as we are mortals. Once we are in that immortal area, we can definitely listen. Enter musicians. Come ho and wake Dinah with a hymn. With sweetest touches pierce your mistress' ears and draw her home with music. So come on, musicians, play the music and let's wake Dinah. Now, if you know, again, classical goddess of the moon, Diana, is supposed to have been in love with Endymion. So from the skies, she would come to earth to meet and unite with Endymion and again go back. So she came every night to meet her lover. Now he says, come, let's play the music and wake Diana. Diana has to go back. So let's wake her up with sweet touches that will pierce your mistress' ear and draw her home. Now we'll play the music which will pierce the music will pierce the ears of Portia and bring her home faster. Jessica, I'm never merry when I hear sweet music. Jessica is moved when she listens to the music, the notes of music. She's not able to contain herself. It affects her a lot. So she says, I'm totally affected, I'm touched, I'm moved. The reason is your spirits are attentive. Lorenzo says, why you're touched? It's not as if she's jumping up and celebrating. She's moved, she's affected. The reason is your spirits are attentive. For do but note a wild and wanton herd, or race of youthful and unhandled coals, fetching mad bounds, bellowing and neighing loud, which is the hot condition of their blood. But if they but hear perchance a trumpet sound, or any air of music touch their ears, you shall perceive them make a mutual stand, their savage eyes turn to a modest gaze, by the sweet power of music. Now, Jessica says she cannot be happy and jump when she listens to music. It only sobers her and affects her, touches her, influences her deeply. Lorenzo says, it is true. The reason is your spirits are attentive, your soul, your spirit is very sensitive, very attentive. And he says it is the case with most other creatures also. Even the wild and wanton herd of rays of youthful coals. So even the coals, the young coals, they are wild. They have been jumping and dancing, jumping and bellowing and running. Even these will suddenly stop jumping madly and bellowing and neighing once they hear music. Music has the power to calm even the young coals, the hot-blooded coals, the wanton herd. So the wanton breed of young horses may jump and bellow and bound, run about. But the minute they listen to music, even they become calm. if they but hear perchance a trumpet sound, if this herd of colt, if perchance they happen to listen to some sound, even that of a trumpet sound, immediately what happens is they become calm, or any air of music touch their ears, you shall perceive, you can see that they make a mutual stand. They'll suddenly stop and listen attentively. Their savage eyes turns to a modest gaze. Their savage wild eyes, while they were jumping around, becomes very timid, becomes silent, becomes sober by the sweet power of music. That is the power of music. So it is no wonder that Jessica is affected by music. He says even wild colts are affected by music. Therefore, and now that is the first example. Now Lorenzo goes on to give another example to show the power of music. Therefore the poet did feign that Orpheus drew trees, stones and floods, since not so stockish heart and full of rage, but music for the time doth change his nature. The man that now he refers to the story of Orpheus. This is again a story by Ovid. In Greek mythology, you can read about Ovid's story of Orpheus, who played upon his harp, a lyre, whatever it is, and immediately all the inanimate things, even trees and stones, started following him when they listened to music. So music has such a strong capacity that it can influence even inanimate objects. So that is a classical example of the power of music. How the music of Orpheus was able to uproot trees and move stones to follow him. Now he reminds Jessica of the power of Orpheus, who was able to have his influence over trees and plants. So music has that capacity. Finally, he concludes by saying, the man hath no music in himself, nor is not moved with concord of sweet sounds, is fit for treason, stratagems, and spoils. A person who has no music in himself, one who is not able to sing or to produce any music, and is not affected. Either you should produce music, create music, or you should enjoy music. If you cannot create music and if you cannot enjoy music, such people are fit only for treason, for treacherous acts, for deception, for cheating, for stratagems, spoils, for plotting, for looting. So people who do not appreciate music or do not create music are not fit for anything positive. They are fit only for robbing, looting, plotting, conspiring. So the motions of his spirit are dull as night, and his affections dark as Erebus. Let no such man be trusted. So such a man who does not appreciate or create music, such a man's spirit are as dull as night. So his soul is dark like night, and his affections dark as Erebus. Erebus is hell. Darkest part of hell is Erebus. That again according to the Greek mythology. So a man without music, a man devoid of music, unable to appreciate music, has a spirit as dark as Erebus itself. Such a man should never be trusted. You should never trust a man. He will easily betray you. So this whole part is very important. It talks about the power of music. And why is it being quoted? Because they are playing music to welcome Portia. Now mark the music. Enter Portia and Nerissa. So they make their appearance. Portia and Nerissa have come. He says, that light we see is burning in my hall. How far that little candle throws his beams. So shines a good deed in a naughty world. So Portia looks and she's able to see light. So first she's able to see light in her place, the candle light. She says, a light is burning there and I can see it so far away. So shines a good deed in a naughty world. She uses a comparison, a simile to say a good deed is like a candle. From a distance you can see the candle light. Similarly, a good deed will spread its goodness to a great deal. It will make a great impact. Nerissa, when the moon shone, we did not see the candle. Now, Nerissa tackles it from a different angle. She says, when there is a brighter light coming, even the light of the candle dims. Portia, so doth the greater glory dim the less. A substitute shines brightly as a king, until a king be by, and then his state empties itself, as doth an inland brook into the main of waters. Music, hark. Now, the legitimate mistress of the house is back. So Nerissa is saying the moon, the candle is bright, but the minute the moon comes, the candle's brightness is dimmed. Here she's talking about Lorenzo and Jessica being the mistress of the house, and now as soon as Portia comes, Portia will definitely overshadow Lorenzo and Jessica. So Portia agrees with her. She says, true, the greater glory will dim the less. A substitute shines brightly in the absence of a king, but the minute the king comes, the king takes charge. So, and then his estate empties itself, just like how a small stream comes and doth an inland brook, a small stream comes and empties itself into the main river, like tributaries join the main river. Like that, these people who are substitutes will be able to do their job only until the king or the mistress returns. Now that they've come, they will take charge. Nerissa says, it is your music, madam, of the house. Now as they come closer, they can listen to the music as well. Portia says, nothing is good I see without respect. Methinks it sounds much sweeter than by day. So as she comes, she says, oh, I can also listen to the music. And everything adds, the context adds to the charm of music. When you're returning home, the music sounds even sweeter. See, after such a day, after so much of turmoil, when you listen to music, it is pleasant. But when you're listening to music in your own house, when you're returning home, the context makes it even more meaningful. So without respect, nothing is good without respect, without the context. Methinks it sounds much sweeter than by day. Today the music is sounding even more melodious than it sounds by day. So Nerissa says, silence bestows that virtue on it, madam. Again, a very important quote. Silence bestows that virtue. When everything is silent, music is even more soothing, even more melodious. So silence has added to the charm of the music, madam. Portia, again, this is again very important because these are questions which are repeated in the exam. The crow doth sing as sweetly as the lark when neither is attended. And I think the nightingale, if she should sing by day, when every goose is cackling, would be thought no better a musician than the wren. How many things by season seasoned are, to their right praise and true perfection. Peace ho, the moon sleeps with Endymion, and would not be awakened. Now Portia agrees, she says, the crow doth sing as sweetly as the lark. Lark is known for its melodious songs. He says the crow also sings well when neither is attended. And I think the nightingale, so only thing is, a bird that sings only at night is the nightingale, whereas the lark, the crow, all of them sing, but nobody listens to them when neither is listened to. And I think the nightingale, if she should sing by day, every goose is cackling. Now she takes three birds, the crow, the lark, and the nightingale. Of the three, the nightingale is appreciated for its song. Now she says, if a nightingale were to sing in the morning, probably even its melodious song would be lost in the cacophony, in the cackling sound, in the noises that we have during daytime. So probably the various noises of the day would distract us and we would not be able to appreciate even a nightingale song. So it is probably only the night silence, the silence of the night, that has made the nightingale the most favorite among the birds for the quality of singing. So even the nightingale, if she should sing by day, when every goose is cackling, all the birds keep cackling, making noise. So every goose doesn't mean only goose, it means every creature is making noise. at that time would be thought no better a musician than a wren. Wren is again a small bird. So nobody thinks about a wren as a bird that sings. Just like how we ignore a wren, we would have ignored even a nightingale if it had sung only at daytime. But luckily, the nightingale sings at night, and so everybody is able to listen to it and appreciate the music. And then she generalizes how many things by seasoned are. So many things are appreciated because of the context. So she says everything in the proper setting, everything has its own value. The setting, the context are as important as the virtue itself. So the quality of singing is appreciated because of the silence of the night and the beauty and the charm of the night. That is why this is again Portia's famous line, how many things by seasoned are. It refers to the thing that a lot of things are appreciated because they are in the proper setting and their value is understood. So to their right praise and true perfection. So you get the right praise and true perfection only if you project things at the right time and the proper setting. Peace, hope. The moon sleeps with Endymion. Then she says, quiet. This is the time when Diana is sleeping with Endymion. Let's not disturb. Again, a reference to the classical mythology. This is a repetition. Music ceases. Lorenzo, that is the voice. Oh, I am much deceived of Portia. So he says, it's Portia. I think I hear Portia. Portia, he knows me as the blind man knows the cuckoo by the bad voice. So Lorenzo, that they're able to immediately know Portia, just like how a blind man knows the cuckoo by the sound. Similarly, even without seeing her figure appearing, just by the voice, they're able to guess it's Portia. Lorenzo says, dear lady, welcome home. Portia, we've been praying for our husband's welfare. With speed we hope, the better of our words. Are they returned? So Portia says, we were praying all the time. She pretends as if she's returning from the monastery. She says, I hope my husband is returning. He's all right. Lorenzo, madam, they're not yet. But there is come a messenger before to signify their coming. We just received a messenger who said that they'll be coming. Portia, go in, Nerissa. Give order to my servants that they take no note at all of our being absent hence. Nor you, Lorenzo, Jessica, nor you. So all of you go in and do not pretend as if we were not here. Let us all pretend as if all of us were here. So they don't want Bassanio and Graciano to know about the absence of Portia and Nerissa. So Portia gives this instruction to others. A trumpet sound. Lorenzo says, your husband is at hand. I hear his trumpet. We are no telltales, madam, fear you not. So Lorenzo says, don't worry, madam, we are not going to tell tales. We are not going to carry tales to your husband to say your wife went away when you were not there, she was not here and all that. Don't worry, we are not telltales. We will not gossip behind your back. And then Portia says, this night methinks is but the daylight sick. It looks a little paler. 'Tis a day, such as the day is when the sun is hid. So now Portia says, it's night methinks, but the daylight is sick. It is early dawn. It's not bright daylight. So it looks pale and it's time, such is the day. So it's early morning, but it's not very bright. So you know that Bassanio is hard by. He's going to enter. We'll stop with this for this video. And in video 2 of Act 5, we'll complete this. So we'll stop with the entry of Bassanio. Thank you, children.